you can see like fingerprints, right? I like rub my fingers around on it. You're not seeing any of that. This is clearly ready to move on to the next step. Hey, what's up guys? Today's going to be a video about Shell Cordovan care or shoe care in general. This is a pair of hole cut slippers from Zeb Shoemaker, and we are going to go through a basic care routine. They've been worn a bit, and we'll have a couple of different angles here, but they've been worn a bit, and I really just need to kind of give them a bit of care and a bit of attention. Nothing special or out of the ordinary. This is my demonstration of what I would call kind of like the basics of shoe care. So let's get started with that, and we'll take a simple approach here. I'm going to only focus on the one shoe. So let's get started. I'm going to start by just kind of going through some of the basic tools. So this is a sleeking bone. This is from Kirby Allison's hanger project. The next thing are a set of brushes. So I am going to use the Soji work brushes, which I've featured here many times. I've got a horsehair and a pig bristle. Any set of brushes will do perfectly fine. The last set of tools here that I'm going to use is a thing of water, some conditioner, which I always use Pure Polish. We'll do a quick overview here of the left shoe, and then we'll use this as the before one when we go back at the end. So this one we will not touch. You can see it's got some water spots on it. It's got some bloom in the creases, and just overall you can see a lot of signs of wear here. So first, let's kind of give a quick overview of this one. Besides the scratch on the toe here, you can see there's a significant amount of wear on the vamp, water spots, a lot of bloom, creases, but we're not going to worry about kind of smoothing them out too much. What I would start with, and I think this is probably pretty like par for the course for everyone at this point, but either wiping them off with a damp, clean cloth or brushing them off, or a little bit of both. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm first going to brush them off, and then I'll use the cloth as a very light cleaning before actually getting into the beginning of the routine. Now I'm just going to take this damp cloth and just wipe off the surface to kind of finish removing any of that, any of the remnants of the surface dirt, the residual polish, paste, whatever may be on the top that may be making it look worse than it is. As you can see, there was a pretty decent amount of dirt that we got off just using the water and the cloth. So I think that's definitely a good thing. So just doing a quick assessment here, I think we can see that wiping it off definitely helped. I'd probably say like 50%. It got us like 50% of the way there. Just looking around. Obviously we need to do some brushing, but you'll notice a few like water spots still on the vamp. I'm going to use just the cleaner conditioner here, and I'm just going to apply a little bit with my fingertip. I think what we're seeing here is some dryness, and I think feeding that nutrients will help kind of even out the finish so that you don't see the spots. It'll help darken the toe a little bit, and then that combined with a little brushing and the deer bone or the sleeking bone here, I think will really do the trick. This is all that I am going to use here. Now, one thing you may notice here, as I apply it, you're going to see that the leather is darkening, which is completely normal. So I'm going to take a pause here. We're going to let this dry. I'm actually going to jump on, do a quick live stream chat with some folks, and then we'll come back and finish this up. Thanks. All right, cool. So let's jump right back in here. Now, this was drying. I think I was on that live stream on YouTube. If you guys were able to join, I'll leave the link for that video in the description here if you want to watch it. But this had about like 15 minutes to dry. You should definitely give it at least like 5 minutes. Hopefully this is kind of coming through, but you can see like I'm touching this. It's not leaving any fingerprints on the leather, which is a sign that like this leather is dry. Let me see. I'm just going to put a dab of conditioner on the back of these just to kind of show you like what it would look like, so that we can kind of show the comparison of what like a dry leather looks like compared to a leather that's not dry. Cool. So if we look at this, when you see like if I touch it, you can see like fingerprints, right? Now, obviously this has only been like a couple, not even a minute yet, but that's what I mean by like, it's going to leave, a sign that like it's still drying. When we look at this one again, as I like rub my fingers around on it, you're not seeing any of that. Like this is clearly dry. This is clearly ready to move on to the next step. So that next step, again, this is just going to be with the sleeking bone. I'm just going to do this before I brush so that I can try and push some of those oils, some of that product and conditioner into smoothing out this toe, and then we'll brush it and see where we land. So you can see like that obviously was not that much time invested in the work that we were just doing right there. It pretty much like did the job. Let's brush it for a few minutes and then we'll take a look at the final result. I think we're in pretty good shape here. I'm going to give it one final kind of buffing with the cloth here, and then we'll do a little before and after comparison with the left shoe. Just to kind of give a summary here. This was what I think probably a total of 20 minutes worth of actual work. It had about 15 minutes of drying time in there, but that could have been shortened down to, let's say, like 7.5 minutes just to kind of cut it in half. But when we look at the toe, which I think was definitely the most obvious part that needed some work, I think that's definitely in much better shape. When we look across the vamp, I think you can definitely see the right shoe is in better looking shape than the left shoe. And I think this one just looks a little more presentable, a little more like cleaned up, polished up, ready to go. Pun fully intended, because that's what we did. I think, I think this is what you should do probably a majority of the time. Definitely like every once in a while, kind of do a more thorough, more kind of robust conditioning, I guess, and, putting some wax and paste on to really just protect it. You're always doing like a full shoe care routine. It's not needed that often. I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Let me know if there's a specific like care tutorial, help guide that you're interested in. And thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.